From the heart of the valley, we welcome you to Phoenix Municipal Stadium for Arizona State baseball on the Pac-12 digital stream. And with that, we say welcome inside. Hi, everyone. I'm Andrew Chapman. You know, with the Final Four in town, college baseball takes a bit of a back seat, but we're still ready to go for Game 2 of this set between UCLA and Arizona State. With both these teams looking for some momentum as we approach the middle of conference, UCLA seems to have found their spark, winners of their past 6, and they've also scored 8 or more runs in each of those 6 games. First time any Bruins team has done that since 1997. Meanwhile, for Arizona State, they've dropped 6 of their last 8 games and began conference with an unideal 1-6 record. The big story has been tonight's starter, left-handed freshman Chaz Montoya. The #1 starter coming out of Arizona is scoreless in his last 4 outings, and the skip has given him the ball for his first Saturday night start tonight as he looks to turn the tide of the series against UCLA. All of that starting lineups in first pitch coming up next when we return on Pac-12 Digital. Runner goes, throw from Serbo down to second, plenty of time as Snow lays down the tag. And Kreidler caught by a mile. Serbo's 2 for 2 and throwing runners out, and it gets Montoya out of another. Scoreless after 2.5 innings here at Muni. Bouchard squares around a bunt, back up to Montoya, goes into a slide and slings it to first in time for the second out. Pitch to Lynn, smoked over to the right side. The first baseman kept it down. Williams charging to the plate, sliding to tie the game. Shaps the runner on second, Lyle Lynn now on first. Shaps representing the go-ahead run. Lane bounces one to the left side, off the glove of the third baseman, and Shaps will be home to score. It's 5-4, Sun Devils lead on a Taylor Lane RBI single. Both runners on the bases to the record of the reliever Connor Higgins. Tapped back to the mound, Arribas has it, throw to second, Aldretti to first. It's a double play. 2-2 to him is a curveball that he sends over to Kern at short. A shovel to second, over to first, and it's a double play to end the inning for Arizona State. He was lights out over 2 seasons. Canning sends a liner into right field, over the head of Decolati, and that will roll to the base of the wall. Canning can fly. He's on his horse to third and is in with a stand-up triple. The 2-2. In on the hand, shallow left field. That will drop for a base hit. Here comes Canning. And with his first career RBI, Williford evens the game at 1. The 0-1 to Shaps on a line. That'll get down into right field. Being waved around is Williford. Here comes the throw, not in time. Shaps advances down to second, and with one swing, he puts the Devils back on top. He's a streaky hitter at times, but he comes up in a big spot here. Set sharply on the ground. McEwen, a backhanded snag, a leap and a throw to second. They got the lead runner. 1-0 our score here at Phoenix Muni. Score graphic has it wrong up there on the top corner of your screen. Sorry about that, folks. As Lyle Lynn puts a charge in one, out into deep left, a leap at the wall, and it's gone. Lyle Lynn, with his first career home run as a Sun Devil, ties the game at 1. For the 2 weeks of conference play, he goes, it's cranked into deep left field, back on it is Bishop, and it's gone. A 2-run home run for Jeremy Idens. Makes it an 8-1 UCLA lead. Pre's just a 194 hitter this season. Does not have a 2-out hit all year. First pitch from Arribas. Curveball downstairs, 1-0. Game tying run down on first. The pinch runner Jake Hirabayashi. 2 away, top of the 9th. A 5-4 Sun Devil lead. The pitch to Prees, high in the air. In foul territory, towards lane, pulls him towards the line. Ball game over. And the Sun Devils open April in winning fashion as they take game 2, 5-4, and even the series at 1 apiece with the Bruins. Top of the 5th inning as we approach the halfway point in this one. Stadium lights in full effect now at Phoenix Muni on this Saturday evening, and a first pitch strike in there for the 0-1 count on Michael Tolia. Tolia grounded out to first. Back in the 2nd inning and quickly 0-2 on the Bruins right fielder. Just missed outside. For Chas Montoya, if you now add up his last 15 1/3 total innings, he's punched out 16 hitters and walked just 3 as he continues to showcase command here on Saturday. Throw down to first, and there's strikeout number 3 for Montoya as Serbo had to make the toss down to first. But so far it has been a pitching duel between the freshman Chas Montoya and the senior Moises Ceja. And it's now Nick Kern, who's 1 for 1 with a single in the 2nd inning. Again, it became clear that Montoya needed to be a part of the weekend rotation last Sunday when he went 5 2/3 scoreless innings against USC on the road, punched out 6 in the process, and of course gave up 0 runs. The story goes that before that game, Tracy Smith told his freshman, hey, just give me a quality start out there, keep us in this game. And with a bit of confidence, Montoya responded, okay, I'll give you 9. 0-2 now on Kern. And Montoya was rolling in that game. He retired the first 2 hitters he saw in the 5th inning, but then the skip Tracy Smith came out to get him. He said he was a bit confused in the 6th inning. His pitch count was only around 70. But he said he had faith in his coach that he was doing the right thing and trying to protect his arm. Still 0-2 on Kern, 1 out, no one on here in the top of the 5th. It'll be interesting to see how long the leash is on Montoya in this one as we approach the midway point in the game. 89-mile-per-hour fastball misses just outside. Now 1-2. Montoya's kept the pitch count down, though. Now just at an even 50 right there. 1-2 offer again. It's Aldretti, the toss to Lynn, and they make the play in time, 2 away. So it's now Chase Strumpf. Strumpf 0 for 1 with a fly out to left field in the 2nd. Changeup misses low and outside for ball 1. Strumpf, a freshman out of Ladera Ranch, California. One-0 is tapped back, 1-1. Going back to Chas Montoya leaving that outing back at USC a bit early, you have to imagine there was a bit of hesitation on Tracy Smith's part, considering he's already lost his star right-handed freshman, Zane Strand, to Tommy John surgery at the start of the season. For Zane, he was out after only 2/3 of work in his freshman season. 1-2 is well hit out in his center field. Back on it is Shaps, but he will hover under and make the two-handed catch to end the inning. So a perfect 1-2-3 for Montoya as he's given up just 3 hits and is scoreless through 5 innings of work. The freshman continues to roll here on Saturday. Hey, welcome into the Cronkite Studios. Happy Friday. This is Cronkite Sports Live, and look at this. We got a new anchor pairing. Andrew Chapman alongside Bailey O'Carroll. Bailey, we're teamed up this week. Our partners are out covering a little thing called the Final Four this weekend. I say, who needs them? We got ASU sports to talk about.
Yeah, it's a ton of ASU sports. Exciting stuff.
Right. And I'll tell you what, though. It's been a cool scene in the Valley with the Final Four in town. And, even though the Final Four has, been here and college basketball is hyped up, to be honest, it's given some energy to the area that Arizona State basketball never really could. So with people traveling from all over, our crew, Rob Warner and Blaine McCormick, hit the streets on Mill Avenue in Tempe to find some characters hyped for the tourney and getting the party started early for our latest edition of Street and Greet. Well, let's keep it in the gym, where ASU Gymnastics finished their season on a high note with their highest Pac-12 tournament score since 2004. For one Gym Devil, though, the season is not over. That's co-captain Nichelle Christopherson, who will compete on the NCAA regional meet on Saturday. Christopherson will be an individual event qualifier on the balance beam, her specialty, and is an alternate on bars. The meet is tomorrow at 2 p.m. from the University of Arkansas. Here's Nichelle on her big day coming. So the women's basketball team is at the big dance, yet the men's team, they're at home. Season complete. 15 wins, 18 losses, and a bouncing from the Pac-12 tournament in the second round. The season started clean, but then 3 top 15 opponents, including number 1 Kentucky, led to almost a pair of 40-point losses. And, well, Gavin, certainly not an ego booster.
And it didn't get much better from there, Andrew. Sam Cunliffe, star freshman, he transfers. And then things got a little bit weird. There were the free throws to beat Colorado at the last second. 2 double-digit comebacks against USC, the one that worked, the one that didn't. And then, of course, Torian Graham raining holy fire on the city of Palo Alto. Not once, but twice. That was pretty cool.
Now, Gavin, this is ASU, though, so a lot of so close yet so far moments. Arizona State dropped only 43 points on the road against Cal, the lowest total of this season, but then only fell a point shy against Oregon on the road. No one's beat them at home in almost 2 seasons.
And as so often happens in our lives, they go to Las Vegas, nothing to lose, and they beat the Stanford Cardinal, 3rd time, just for fun, and then their season ends against that same Oregon Ducks team despite Torian Graham going off. That's how it goes sometimes.
That's ASU basketball in a nutshell. Best of luck next season, though. They're a young team and a lot of good recruits coming in.
And now we head on to a
There was little to no holiday break for ASU hockey, and contrary to the popular phrase, new year, new me, 2017 has brought more of the same. Top 25 opponents. Ohio State was one of those, and after a 6-1 loss 2 weekends ago, the Sun Devils rallied a shootout win over the number 10 Buckeyes. However, the match was an exhibition match, so in the record books it goes down as a tie. And while ASU continues to battle the learning curve that is Division I hockey, new leadership has emerged. Our hockey play-by-play man, Tyler Paley, introduces us to a local sophomore making a mark on his hometown club. ASU women's soccer head coach Kevin Boyd has resigned after 10 seasons at the helm of the Sun Devil program. Boyd resigned the Monday following the conclusion of the regular season, which saw the Devils drop the final 7 games of conference play. During his time at ASU, Boyd led the Sun Devils to 4 NCAA tournament appearances and tallied 90 career wins, a school record. Well, Kalen Balaj stole the headlines on a historic offensive night. Redshirt senior defensive back Gump Hayes snagged a pair of key interceptions in the second half of Saturday's contest, which resulted in Balaj scoring plays. Our Cronkite Sports football reporter Troy Lynch chatted with Hayes postgame and explores the growing confidence of an ASU secondary. All right, it's time for our top plays, all courtesy of ASU basketball. We begin with Trey Holder, an over-the-top lob ball to Obina Aleka. He slams it down 2 hands, puts the cherry on top with that facial expression. Now you saw Shannon Evans with the assist. Now he steps back and drills the 3. We need one more look at that. Steps back, goes to the corner. Look at the face of Dominic Green. He was an ASU recruit, then chose to go to Washington, and Shannon Evans gives him a response like that.
And now we roll on to top plays, Andrew.
All right, yeah, well said, Gavin. First play goes to the softball diamond, Farrington Stadium, and it is the senior leader, Chelsea Gonzalez. Runners on the corners, and she goes deep to center to make it a 3-0 game in the bottom of the first. ASU really rolled through Nebraska in that series. All right, well said, Bailey. Gotta love March Madness, and it's time for our top plays. We start with ASU baseball. It's the athletic Andrew Shaps out in center field going into a slide against UNLV. What a nice catch there.
Sports. And joining us to talk about the program and upcoming season, Sun Devil Hockey head coach Greg Powers. Coach, thanks so much for joining us. And first and foremost, welcome home. You were a former journalism student here at Arizona State. We've made a few additions to the building.
Yeah, I'd say so. This is it's night and day from what we had. And I was telling Mitch.
Anyways, Coach, let's jump right into it. But let's first do a little flashback back to November of 2014. The announcement comes out that Arizona State to become a full Division I hockey program. You guys finish your season in the ACHA that year. Then last year play a hybrid schedule between ACHA and Division I opponents. This year, you look at the schedule. 3 out of 4 opponents from last year's Frozen Four, a number of division and conference champions as well. In the locker room and among the coaching staff, does looking at that schedule give the feel that this is the true start to the new Sun Devil hockey era?
Yeah, I think internally that is our really first full season.
And as the games get tougher, you guys have brought in a lot of new talents as well, a young, talented freshman class, a number of red shirts that you've touched on that are going to be one of the biggest boosters to your team who are eligible to play this year, some international talents, even a graduate student. There is a different look to this team and additional talent that simply wasn't there last year.
Yeah, a completely different look, and I think some class balance with adding those transfers.
Now, the argument might be you bring in all these new players, all these different playing styles. The chemistry might not be there originally. But from what I understand, you guys originally just recently went on a trip to Flagstaff, a team retreat. What was that like?
It was great. It was great. And
so your history in the ACHA is well documented and your success. But let's be honest, going into this Division I season, you are not alone. There is great personnel on this coaching staff as well surrounding the guys. You look at guys like Alex Hicks, Garnet Exelby, who have NHL experience and are now on this staff coaching these guys. What do they bring to the table, and how will they help some of these players develop over the year and help turn them into future professionals?
Yeah, I mean, at the highest level of anything, you're only as good as the people you surround yourself with. And they add credibility to us out of the gate.
So all of these pieces coming together, the players, the coaches, the resources, that's kind of led you to say that this is a rocket ship program in many different ways. So that being said, what's the overall expectation going into this season? Is there an end goal when it's all said and done?
You know, the end goal for us is literally just to compete every
Spring training is heating up, with temperatures expected to rise into the mid-90s this weekend. Folks pour in from around the country to Cactus League ballparks like Scottsdale Stadium. The climate change coming as a shock.
This is rough. We just flew here this morning from San Francisco, and it was 47 degrees and foggy. And then we get here and it's, 95?
I think it was like 10 degrees in Minnesota when we left, so big swing. It's nice to put shorts on.
But the record heat in March can pose a threat. Reports confirmed over a dozen heat-related illnesses at Peoria Sports Complex and 2 at Camelback Ranch earlier this week. With record temperatures forecasted on Saturday, medical personnel expect a rise in that total and caution towards one of spring training's most popular concessions.
The biggest thing is everybody wants to indulge in the alcoholic adult beverages, which actually, really compounds the problem because of the alcohol, you become dehydrated, and with the sun beating on you, it becomes very dehydrated and it becomes very dangerous.
Staying hydrated in the Scottsdale heat can be much more difficult than fans believe. Fire department personnel recommend drinking at least 1 bottle of water every half hour to stay hydrated and avoid heat stroke.
Anytime something like that happens, we do go out and check them out. We'll run a whole advanced life support system on them, make sure that they're good, and we'll let them know that they need to go to the hospital. If they're not feeling good, if they're dizzy, if they're not alert and oriented, then we will transport them to the hospital.
If you're heading to spring training this weekend, paramedic crews also recommend wearing loose clothing, hats and sunscreen, along with finding cover in shaded areas. In Scottsdale, Andrew Chapman, Cronkite News.